Introduction. I began this research with adventurous purpose, having set my sights on a rather impossible goal, namely, to embark on a quest for a kind of storyteller's holy grail, some special elixir or rare ingredient that could make my fictional characters come to life. Usually when we speak of a character coming to life, such as from the page of a novel, we mean that the author has succeeded in so textured and true a portrayal that the weave of words from which this character is actually constituted is replaced by an image so powerful in our imagination, it feels as though the character were a real person, conjured right there in front of us. My meaning, however, was not metaphorical. Mad though it seemed, in my novels, films, and performances, I sought in earnest to free my fictional characters from the shackles of my authorship and find a means by which they could become the authors of their own lives, truly autonomous. The result, to my surprise, would be continually finding myself in situations in which it became necessary to reformulate the original research question, until the emphasis was no longer so much on bringing fictional characters to life as on understanding what differentiated real persons from fictional characters in the first place, particularly in my video performances, where I witnessed both the characters of my imagination and my own character, my habitual way of presenting in everyday life, playing out on one and the same surface, in this case, my body. Where did my fictional characters come from? Was it possible that they came from the same place that I did? And were we wrought from the same material, despite going on to take on such different classifications, imaginary and real? How much did I actually share with fictional characters and other kinds of agents for that matter, from other organisms to artificial intelligence to corporations? Eventually, the project had become an exercise in challenging and reorganizing a series of intuitive relationships between concepts such as character, self, person, human being, and the social agent. By running a number of experiments in performance designed to probe those relationships, these concepts began to take on different meanings. Character increasingly appeared to be something independent of the organism that happened to be playing it, making it possible to view fictional characters on a level playing field with the personalities of real people. Likewise, a human being increasingly appeared to be a universal character-playing machine that could be reprogrammed. And a social agent, an instance of which you can spot wherever I use the word I, no longer seemed to be the same thing as a human being, even if, in practice, we behave as if that were the case. But let's start at the beginning. Why does such a project as making fictional characters really come to life seem so futile and misguided, perhaps even morbid, so as to befit a mad scientist, like Mary Shelley's Victor Frankenstein or Metropolis's Rotwang? Pinpointing what it takes to make something come alive, become animated with spirit, and display the characteristics of an autonomous agent in many ways remains a mystery shrouded in Promethean danger. But one thing seems certain: you can't write a fictional character to life. After all, writing character entails determining all it says and does in advance. And if my character has no voice other than the one I give it, then surely the only autonomous agent present in the equation is me. Scripting and agency are antithetical to one another by definition. Or are they? Seen from another perspective, scripts seem to crop up a great deal in studying the mechanics of autonomous agents. Living things, from microbes to humans, seem to exhibit varying degrees of agency, yet they are driven by the genetic script written into their DNA, which, in concert with the wider environment, encodes the unfolding of their being. Social life, without which there would be no audience for our self-expression, is itself orchestrated by codes of conduct, protocols, and social scripts of various kinds, from table manners and queuing to religious doctrines and international treaties. Most exemplary, perhaps, is artificial intelligence. Not only is it scripted in computer code, but, as we are now rapidly discovering, training it on natural language might well prove to be the key to generalizing machine intelligence. What if, as in these three examples, writing, text, and scripts were not only compatible with agency, but a key ingredient in it? To what extent is something as close to home as the cell written, inscribed by ancient grooves of genetic memory, articulated by chains of DNA text, and scripted by a culture of stories? Seen in this light, the original artistic ambition to bring fictional characters to life is no longer simply make-believe, or at least it is non-trivially comparable to the make-believe required to recognize agents in biology, sociology, and AI research. Art presents itself, therefore, as another relevant domain within which to approach the question of scripting for agency, whereby the institution of the practice-based PhD enables a systematized and peer-reviewed study. The remainder of this introduction will highlight the implications and significance of the research, which will be covered in more detail in Chapter 6 and in the conclusion, Chapter 7. And it will also give an overview of the state of the art, Chapters 1 to 4, describe the methodology, which happens in Chapter 1, and list the research findings, which are in the final 3 chapters.